You are listening to Brink Radio.
And of course, we back. Like I say, Brink Radio, 96.3 FM. I'm your host, Brink Young, coming straight out of them South Memphis slums. Now, I told you, this is a betrayed thirst takeover. Like, we got cast member after cast member joining us right now on the show. We're talking about the beautiful Hassan. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing today?
I'm doing amazing. First and foremost, I got to say thanks for being a guest on the show. Means a lot to have you kicking in with us tonight.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Now, we got plenty to talk about because, like I say, you play a critical role in this movie, Betrayed Thirst. You actually play the role of Jada.
Yes.
Tell us your interpretation of the character Jada.
Jada is a woman with a lot of layers. I feel like she's a wife. Of course, she's a caretaker. And I think what's so special about her role, just outside of the relationship that she forms with Jamal, really getting in and seeing that, you know, people take vows, they say for better or for worse.
Yeah.
You see that in this film. And how someone navigates that role, I think for her, showing the complexity of that. You know, it's not just, oh, you know, babe, when you had a little cold. No, when you're dealing with lifelong, serious issues, how that draws this wedge, and the effects it'll have on you mentally, emotionally, physically. So she's very strong, she's very complex. And I like Jada. I don't know if I should say it, but I like Jada because I feel like even when watching it, it's like, wow, like I don't agree with her all the time.
Yeah.
I don't hate her either, you know.
And that's the critical thing about this movie. Like, I don't want viewers leaving hating Jada. And like when they see you in public, like, girl, you were wrong for what you. It's a movie, ladies and gentlemen. We got to remember that. But it felt like it's like when a person gets pushed to a point and then they finally had enough. I gotta ask you this: what were the ingredients for preparing for this role? Like, were there any actresses that you studied, or maybe movies that you kind of channeled, or what?
So, I actually I didn't watch any movies. However, in class, like when you're, you know, just learning acting, your fundamentals, method acting, and all these different things, one of the most important things that I knew that I had to keep in mind was I couldn't judge her character.
Right.
The minute you judge your character is the minute that you lose the connection with them.
Wow.
So I had to really do a lot of backstory for Jada. Where did she come from? Who is she? Why is she here? Who is this relationship? Why is she in this relationship? Because then, only then does it make sense, and only then can I really sympathize with her myself and be able to give her the fair, just land to live in with her. So it's really a lot of backstory, and then also, you know, even when you're playing the most dramatic characters, the emotion is what we all relate to. It's the emotion that you're gonna look at the movie and be like, I might not have never been in that situation, but I understand that emotion.
Right, right.
So for Jada, it was just a lot of that, just connecting that backstory and then adding, okay, I may have never gone through this, but I've definitely gone through a time where I felt alone.
Yeah.
Where I felt like the world was on my shoulders. And so that, just meshing those two things together.
I think a natural thing that kind of happened, like for me, is the ability to sympathize with Jada. You know, seeing the actual predicament that she was in. And I think the same thing kind of happened in the film with Jamal. Like when he went to do the interview with the husband, and he was like, wow, this is crazy. You know, so it felt like the character sympathized. And then it's like things just, y'all got to see the movie. I ain't gonna go too crazy, but it seemed like things just took several turns. I think a lot of people go feel this movie. Like, I think a lot of people go feel it. Now, of course, I just got through interviewing Keenan Walker. He actually mentioned that was his first love scene. Was this your first love scene in a film?
It was.
Wow. Yikes. Y'all did good.
Thank you.
May 6th. Y'all see how good they did, people. May 6th. But let's talk about the butterflies and maybe the nerves behind it.
Keenan is amazing. And it was so interesting to me that before we even met, when I got the script, I know for me, I read it, I knew the assignment, I knew what needed to be done. And when Keenan reached out to me, and we sat down, it was as if we had already established, what we wanted without even saying a word.
Yeah.
So just to sit down and even talk to him and us to get to know each other and all of that, when you are aligned with what you're supposed to be doing and when you got a common mission, it's just seamless. And it was easy. Of course, it was the cameras and and all of that made it like anxious, right. And you making sure like, oh my gosh, like how am I going to look? But the connection, I felt so safe with him, and I hope he felt safe with me because, we had just worked so hard to establish that connection before we even got on set. So, and when we watched it, like I felt like, wow, like we did, like, we nailed that, we did that. So I was very proud of how it turned out, for sure.
Interesting choice of words. They nailed it. They nailed it. But like I say, man, May 6th, you guys make sure y'all tune into this movie. We're talking about Betrayed Thirst. You did a phenomenal job in it, man. When I was watching it, I kind of saw flashes of thin line between love and hate. Like when I ain't trying to get too much away, but when you snapped, I was like, whoa, what's finna happen? It's crazy. It's crazy. So,
yeah.
A lot of times people watch these movies and they feel like, there are elements within that character, within the real person. Is any of Jada you in real life?
Like I said, to be able to identify with certain emotions from a character,
yeah.
Again, without even having to experience anything she's experienced, I have felt betrayed by someone. I have felt like I haven't had anyone to talk to. So pulling from that, from those experiences, Now, I definitely feel like with Jada, I came to the conclusion that there was some emotional and mental abuse that you'll obviously see going on in the film, and man, even going so far and looking into psychology, and how a person that has been abused, how they think, what's the thought process behind that, how do they, to do some of the things that she did, you would say like, wait a minute now, but then to understand, oh, wait a minute, there's something else going on here.
Right.
Having to tap into that, and depression, what I'm saying? Just a lot of different avenues. So I think, that in some ways, I could identify with that character. Like I feel like we've all kind of been in a place, what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, there's always sometimes things that trigger us to do things, I hope you ain't bust no windows out nobody.
No.
Okay, just making sure. She's not crazy, ladies and gentlemen. It's just a movie.
It's just a movie.
But let's go ahead and get into some background. You are from Memphis, correct?
I am.
Okay, so let's talk about your background. You actually started in theater, right?
I did.
Let's get into that.
Yeah, so I went to Colonial Middle School and Overton High School, graduated from Overton High School.
Great schools, man. Great schools.
Yes. And so they have Kappa programs. I wasn't in Kappa, however, they would allow, it was like a casting call. I think Overton did a spring show every year where they would do a musical, pick a musical, and then you can audition. So I did that. And then when I graduated high school, in college, I also did theater. Always loved theater. And it was actually when I moved to Nashville is when I started studying film, and I knew I loved it then. So just taking classes, learning the difference between theater acting and film acting, because there is a difference.
Right.
But man, theater definitely gave me, I feel like, that backbone to be able to do it, because it's not an easy thing at all.
And it's incredible that you've actually been a part of major production, Fatal Attraction on TV One, correct?
Fatal Attraction TV One.
Let's talk about that.
Ooh, you know what's crazy? The setup for a show like that. When I got the role, they're talking about real life situations.
Yeah.
So these are things that actually happen. And the character, she wasn't the crazy one, but she played the spouse or the ex-spouse of the killer. Well, for that, when I got the script, I only got the scenes for the scene that I was doing, so I knew very little about the story. So when I get on set, you do your part and then you leave. Well, then the episode airs and you see the full story and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. People were like calling me, asking me like, girl, this, and I'm like, I had no idea.
Right.
So that was my first, that was my first role for like a major television network. And so to see how that worked, it's like, wow, like that story was kind of disturbing. And it's like, wow, I had no idea until after it aired. So it was interesting, but it was a little like, ooh, I was a little scared.
And it's crazy, like watching this show, some people don't even realize that those are reenactments.
Right.
Some people think, oh, that's really going on. They killed you, girl. You okay? Nah, it's fake. Like it's a reenactment. It's an adaptation. Okay?
Right.
Yeah. So let's talk about another film that you're a part of, Foster Kid. It's available on Amazon Prime, correct?
It is, yes, okay. Foster Kid. Rob Vickers in Nashville, Tennessee, another really great filmmaker. That movie also it's funny because just like with Betray, I feel like it opens up a conversation. I feel like that movie does as well. It's like a faith-based film. So it's like family friendly, you can watch it with your kids, things like that. And my character in that movie, I'll say, somewhat similar to Jada.
Okay.
Somewhat similar to Jada in some ways. And if you look at the movie, go watch it. The story in it is very telling, very strong. And I loved it. I loved working with Rob too.
Absolutely. So, of course, I feel like we are definitely in a renaissance period for indie filmmakers, especially African-American filmmakers. Let's talk about that and the abilities and the opportunities that we have now that we may have not had, let's say, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. I love, how networks like Tubi and Amazon and all these places just giving people that platform. I love how we've just taken the initiative. I know for myself, I love acting. I feel like that's the first love, but then also being driven to writing, being driven to produce, being driven to direct, simply based off of the fact that, hey, look, they'll tell you that there's a shortage out there.
Right.
Like, it's everybody's, crab in the barrel trying to pick, but then you have those people that say, you know what? I'll do it myself.
Correct.
I'll make my own film.
Correct.
I'll do my own. You're not gonna give me the deal. Okay, that's fine. I'll fundraise. I'll wash car, whatever I got to do.
Yeah.
And I think one beautiful thing about being here, being from Memphis, is that hustle mentality.
Yes.
Like, you are in a city full of hustlers. I don't care if I want something, I'm gonna go get it. So that same grind, I love seeing people take that grind where other places may look at it as a negative thing, but we took it and we evolved it and made it something very positive. And it's so important. Indie films are so important. And the best thing that we can do as a community, we say, well, how can we support? Man, watch the film.
Yep.
Do the reviews.
Yep.
When you see a movie, you love it, just like we, support the big major things out there. Support the people in your city. That's how that's where a Tyler Perry comes from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where we come from. We have to do that for each other. So I 100% back indie films. And I think we also have a responsibility as indie filmmakers, as creatives, to also want to, up the ante. Try to make your stuff the best that you possibly can. The quality of your work, make it better every time. It's so easy for people to look at, an indie film and look at, we know it's going to be low budget.
Right.
Okay, it may be, but that doesn't mean it has to look like it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It doesn't have to sound like it. There is literally a endless amount of resources out there for you to study this on your own. Do it. Take the time. You're only going to do yourself a favor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I love it.
Could we talk about the challenges that you may face as being obviously beautiful woman in this industry? You know, obviously there are horror stories about casting couches and stuff like that. You know, let's talk about that.
Yeah. Through the grace of God, I have not experienced that.
Okay.
Not saying that it's not a thing, because it definitely is.
Facts.
I think that for me, again, like I said, and I think I got this question in the after the premiere, like, how do I deal with the typecasting situation? You know, once somebody sees you, don't take this role, because once you take it, that's the only role you're gonna be able to get. And I understand it, and you know, some people may try to do that to you. Again, that's where I feel like, take your power back.
Right.
I've written things. I have short films that I'm working on right now that I've written for myself, simply because, hey, look, if I wake up and I say, wow, I'm really feeling inspired, I want to take on the role of a cop or, you know, a superhero or whatever. If that role is not available to me for me to audition for, I'm going to make that role for myself.
Yeah.
I'll write that role for myself. And if I can't write it, I'll bring somebody in that I know that may have experience in doing that thing and write it for me, and we're going to shoot it together. I believe in owning your power, never giving it away. And that's what I strive on, because you can't just put me in a box, because I won't allow you to.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's what we talking about, man. This lady is universal. You can't just limit her to one role. Hey, she gonna come up out that box flexing them muscles. You know what I'm talking about? Go ahead, let the people know all of your social media, as well as any booking information. That way they can, you know, stay up with you.
Yes. Facebook, Instagram, Bree Hassan. That's Bree Hassan on Facebook. Bree_Hassan on Instagram. That's BRE_HASSAN. I am on Actors Access. I am on Actors Access and Casting Networks. Bree Hassan. All of the booking information is on those two sites.
All right, so this is what we need. Like I say, the movie is coming out May 6th. I need a hard sale. I need you to let them know why they should be watching that movie May 6th. Go.
You have to watch Betray Thirst, simply because if you are a person that wants to support your community, if you love great quality filmmaking, then you will love this movie. It will definitely start a conversation. It will get us together. You'll see so many different actors and so many different roles. You've never seen a movie like this. Yes, you've seen drama. Yes, you've probably seen thriller, but you've never seen characters like this. You've never seen a story like this. So watch it for that. Watch it to support. Watch it because I said so.
Hey, because she said so. We ain't talking about Stone Cold. We talking about Bree Hassan. I got to say thank you for being a guest.
Thank you for having me.
Now back to Brink right there. Wait. We got one more cast member. So we finna play some music. And when we come back, we're going to have my guy Everett Anderson in the building. Don't move.